Hello, this is Addict7, and welcome to Dicey Dungeons. It's a game show where you can win your heart's desire by reaching the bottom of a 6th floor dungeon full of the strongest enemies you've ever met. Your weapons will all need the dice you've rolled to deal damage, and for this speedrun I will be using glitches to go through the full game. Time starts when I click play in 3, 2, 1. So, when you start, this will meet the Jester, who hosts the game alongside the Lady Luck, who you see here. Or, and we start each game by playing as the Warrior. The Warrior, as you can see, starts with a sword. It's a pretty strong weapon, since it does damage using the dice you gave it. Now, there's countdowns, which take a large amount of dice to charge, and if the warrior ever finds that his dice are low, he can re-roll them using combat roll. However, nothing's stopping combat roll from just rolling 3 ones in a row. And when you take damage, your limit break charges. The limit break charging actually does a lot in this game, because a fully charged limit break, while used, allows you to repeat your next action. And now we defeated the Hothead. In this first section of the game, most of the enemy rolls are already predetermined, and as you can see, I actually am gonna do something that removed my battle axe from the inventory that just showed up. But not to worry, since it's always coded to show up in this fight. And I as well burn some dice to get to the Jester, to a little bit lower health for the future. Frozen, it turns your highest dice into a 1, from highest to lowest. Would we pain? That's where we weren't doing so well. The Jester's dice rolls are all basically predetermined, since I believe this is an introduction to the status effects of the game. Shock, of course, temporarily disables equipment, and you need to use a dice to unshock yourself. We take some dice from the damage from the burns, so we can, charge our limit break more later. Of course, this comes at the cost of our health. Ow. Here's the stereo head. Stereo head has a good voice that sounds like a stereo. Goes doo. And stereo head requires get a roll pretty high. Now, when enemies are burnt, they will not use the dice that is burnt if they will knock themselves out with that dice. Now, nice, we got a boomerang. And that glitch I did earlier allowed me to dual wield the battle axe. I probably should have done that before I fought the stereo head, but hey. Some pretty low rolls. And those are some pretty high rolls from the handyman. One of the glitches you've seen me regularly do is kind of like reuse the same combat roll with the one dice. This tactic is basically just involves you mashing like left click between the time when all the equipment comes in from the screen, and the time you can actually use the equipment. Now, Cactus can gain thorns, which means that if you attack the cactus while thorns are up, you will also take damage when you deal damage, direct damage to them. I'm trying to deal as much damage as I possibly can. Crystalina generally creates a huge amount of crystal weapons. It's basically a different fight each time. Sometimes it's 4 attacks. Although the first and the third crystallizers can do extra things, like give random blessings, and of course naturally to themselves, not to you. However, the second and fourth ones will always be attacks. Aurora is the goddess of the weather. And now she is no longer in our way. Ooh, Toxic Ooze. How might and we don't... well, we're not going to use it yet. We'll probably use it against the Kraken, since the Kraken has a pretty annoying attack that allows... it disables a random piece of your equipment. You do not want to get hit by that, trust me. Counterspell. It's a very situational weapon. And now we're coming across the Kraken. Now you want to add a huge amount of poison to the Kraken, because otherwise you'll, you see, Kraken rolled a 4. When they roll a 4, you get cursed. And your next, all your equipment has a 50% chance to fail until you activate it. See? Now if we didn't have that, when it gets harder, you might have to waste another turn. And now you're going to be wondering why I'm not going to be using the boomerang for this fight. Well, it's actually, well, very good. You see, not only can you use it to kind of like duplicate equipment from that Jester fight, you can also use that same equipment glitch to, well, carry equipment between episodes. And Madison has just gotten her most optimal turn. Although usually Madison just goes for, you finishing your chocolate cookie and then using a campfire on you. It gets stronger and stronger as time goes on, so we gotta be careful about that. And now we have beaten episode 1. Congratulations. Our very first win! If Jester does say that if it lands on the star, we get to leave the dungeons. So, Kaiman's on this spinner. It's, well, not that. I guess we gotta continue. Now, as you can see, like the goal is to basically go through 5 of the Warrior episodes, but we don't get access to the episodes until we actually get to them. So, we got to finish all of the episodes. We gotta play an episode which with 5 different characters in order to actually unlock playing as the Warriors for the next few episodes. So the boomerang actually helps with that, because we get to basically save some time with the lower level enemies who largely won't deal very much damage, and just, let ourselves be pummeled by a stereo head. Usually, you'll be lucky enough to be pummeled by a marshmallow. Marshmallows can do a lot more damage with a 5 and a 6 than the stereo head can do with the 5 and a 6. This was not a... See, so sometimes it's a bit of a risk to do that, but this time it paid off. Sometimes the enemy does like to make your, defeat as slow as possible, so you gotta be aware of that. So the thief's special ability was to steal equipment from one piece of equipment from the enemy. Now, the thief is no more. Usually we roll higher than that. Come on, game. Heck yes, we're down to the marshmallow. Now all we just need to do is end our turn immediately, and we should be golden. See? Burning yourself is an easy way to end the turn. Now here's the inventor. The interesting thing about the inventor is that when she uses a... When she wins a fight, you have to pick a random piece of equipment to scrap for parts to use for our next skill. Now we don't want to scrap the boomerang because we need to use it for the Warriors episode. But we're going to be picking the baby squid and hoping the baby squid rolls 6s. Well, see. And there we go. Now, we can't do the same thing with the witch, because you can't do the inventory glitch with the witch, because she does not have a traditional inventory. So, it's a problem. Which is most special is that she can place dice into a spellbook to create new equipment. However, I'll be saying that, since the goal is, of course, to beat the game as fast as possible. Sometimes you are unlucky, because the robot will not roll high enough values. Which is why, actually, we can, if we roll optimally, the robot can end our run right now. So, Now we finally have access to episodes. Episodes, but it hasn't been working for a while. I should probably get around to fixing that. Now we've come to Warrior Episode 2. This time, all of your equipment is fully upgraded, but unfortunately you are cursed, which means you basically start each fight with a turn with one curse, and it is generally not supposed to cause problems, but it can, like now. Seems like they were skipping a huge amount of equipment in this episode. Idiot. First doesn't always happen. It is a 1.5 chance. Which is why you'll see a lot of people try to pray that that 1.5 chance actually happens. Anyway, the thing we're going to be doing is adding another boomerang. That's always added to your backpack instead of into your hands, so you gotta go back there and check. The snowman is also a pretty tough enemy, because sometimes a snowman will throw 5 snowballs. That's okay. This one, yeah. Alright. And that was the Kraken. And I usually get just like another piece of equipment there, but like Toxic Ooze is pretty good. Currently in Speedrun right Which was this? Everything was 4. So, at this point, I'm going to carry the line to the next episode. We're facing Madison again. Thankfully, Madison doesn't deal a lot of damage on the first turn. At the beginning of the fight, it usually takes a lot more turns for her to do more damage. But she is one of the enemies that actually does some more damage with lower dice. Most enemies do kind of higher dice to win. And that was Warrior Episode 2. This is a little faster than usual. That also quite a lot of fight against Madison. This is now, you can either choose to go to Warrior Episode 3 or Episode 4, but I prefer Episode 3 because Episode 4 kind of requires you to deal with higher health. And, the gimmick of this episode is that every piece of equipment you use, every time you level up, usually you'd increase your health. In this episode, your health decreases each time you level up. As a result, usually it's harder to get faster episodes, but still possible. You do have a Venus flytrap to heal your damages, and you also can get the equipment like the snows. If you get things like the snowball, you can largely prevent a lot of that damage from happening to you in the first place. I usually do go for the Iron Shield since in general it is always a way to counteract the damage from Boomerang, and also it's generally the better option. Now, one of the benefits of this Worse Than the Curse episode is that your equipment, your limit break actually charges faster each time you level up. Of course, that does come at the downside of just dying earlier. Keymaster is pretty interesting. Basically, the more dice the Keymaster has, that keyblade just used permanently unlocked that slot. So if we rather got to turn 2, then basically use more and more equipment each turn until the Keymaster himself can do like 18 damage. Pretty powerful, huh? Now, probably go from that. I usually in this episode I like to switch between equipment as you see fit. Since the Venus flytrap can heal you, but the things like the broadsword can deal more damage. Sometimes the trading post has something good, but today it doesn't. Although I could have used it against Slickerman since Weak to Fire, but in general, all countdown equipment is pretty commonplace. It's not as popular in speedruns, so. it's a countdown that requires staff is countdown that requires 2 dice. And you see, sometimes combat roll just gives you 3 dice that roll the same number. When that happens, you usually know, it usually means one thing. Here's the Banshee. Banshee is unique in that basically the type of Banshee who usually is usually like enemies that deal freeze are pretty good at ice, but Banshee actually cannot take what she deals. So just do something like this, and this prevents her from doing a lot. That being said, this nothing prevents the Banshee from just rolling a bunch of high dice anyway. Silence is pretty bad because basically for So, at this point, we are about to face the boss. This time the boss is Kata. While it says she's immune to lock and freeze, that doesn't like in that normal movement. Doesn't mean Snowball can't do damage. Usually don't get used to it. Usually, it's just not to get to use the storm. But it's probably her strongest attack, because naturally it has. So this fight is pretty slow. Alright, realizing that maybe I should... Alright, time for... the fight against the wolf puppy. One of the interesting things is that in this episode you get a rusty sword. Basically does more damage if you are under half health. And that's the greatness of the rusty sword. Problem is, in this episode, Fairy actually has a big downside. You can't use the equipment again the next turn, which is why. However, we do have a piece of equipment that actually works well under those conditions. It will come up soon. That chest always has a lucky roll in it. Thick skin is usually pretty good, but I do, of course, prefer it. High damage. Polar Star is pretty popular and because it does double damage, but it can only be used on even turns. But when upgraded, it can now only be used on odd turns. And actually it has some uses in this episode. See if the way that Curse works in this episode is that instead of causing equipment to fail, Curse actually reverses the target, meaning that when you take damage, it's actually going to be... When you usually do damage to the enemy will now do damage. You'll actually just do damage to yourself. This is a worst possible layout, since usually the enemies don't all will end up in that square layout, and you'll have to fight 3 of them. There's no layout where you have to fight all of the enemies in that area, but you will always have to fight at most 3. In the rarest possible cases, you sometimes just have to fight 1 enemy to get to the boss. But it is surprisingly pretty rare. Outward! He's actually less annoying in this episode than usual, because usually the louder bird. Will always dodge your attacks, and also make one of your equipment weaker. But in this episode, we can actually just makes you take more damage, which is less of a problem than. Taking more damage from attacks is not as big of a problem as having your equipment weakened. Didn't get a lot of good strong equipment in this episode, but. And of course I have to face against Audrey. Probably one of the harder fights in this episode to actually since. Earthquake inflicts 3 weaken and then does 6 damage. Will cause me to take more damage from my own boomerang. I'll have the last stand there as backup. The way it works is that you actually you will die once you do that. You won't be able to be killed by anything. The thing is, though, once the timer actually reaches 0, you do actually die. Thankfully, I won't. Now, I'm starting to think this wheels are rigged. And now we're on the 6th episode. 6th episode is always an episode with where you first get to choose your equipment. Secondly, you make. Once you go down a floor, the rules will change a little bit. And that is the way Rose. Rose is supposed to do Thorns damage, and we got the best upgrade here. And now all equipment we'll find will be upgraded. Not all, but most rules are not like that, though. Most rules are much more dangerous. Saving limit break for the next fight. I usually don't like it when the enemies get extra health. This one is a little bit... actually pretty tough since... You know, rolling sixes is one of the warrior's main strategies. Crescent Moonblade is probably better in this situation because... And now, here we meet the Copycat. Copycat is the one who copycats your equipment. Interesting enough, Copycat does not show up in the Switch release. I believe this is because of some optimization issue. It also doesn't appear in any of the mobile releases or any of the other console releases. Countdowns reduce at double the normal rate. That's actually not very good for you, because the only boss that doesn't have a countdown is Gut Hatch. Quarterstaff is generally not in very well. Hello, crystals. Oh, you're all 6, I'm probably gonna... I don't mind that rule, because those enemies will not last that long. I have gotten the worst luck with the floor 5s this time around. So I guess this is a GDQ submission and not a... We've finally beaten episode 6. Wow, what a stroke of bad luck. Thinking it's match time, we complain about the bad luck. See, usually this episode is not unlockable unless you complete all the bonus rounds. But, however, if you click on the left arrow as it's fading out, you can actually do the backstage immediately. Now, the fastest character I've usually seen is the Thief. Thief is a little bit interesting because each character doesn't really have their own, like, have their special equipment from their first level, but they do have like a modified version of their old equipment. Thief. Usually it doesn't get that bad of a hacksaw rolls. Doesn't usually get hacksaw rolls that bad. But the thing about the backstage episodes is every enemy you defeat will join your party. Kind of like an RPG. But you can only switch between fighters once per turn. My rolls have not been good today. Pirate is actually supposed to be one of the better fighters to find. Since, you know, against all odds works really well with the rolling 4s. Unfortunately, we rolled very few 4s. After the first limit break, all of your limits take like 8 to charge. Thankfully, this vacuum is left there. The fight is not that bad. They can usually be pretty bad if you get blinded in the worst possible way. I usually don't like to heal the main fighter since usually it's not a good idea for that dice to be there. Yeah. But we have ways to do it. 3 dice for that fight. The final fight. that perfectly. I thought I would have lethal. And that was a mistake. I did not need to fight. Okay, that was the worst possible roll to have happened to me. Now we're to the final boss of Lady Luck. Usually for this part we have the Rat King, since the Rat King actually has a lot of poison for this part, but which can melt Lady Luck's 200 health. Unfortunately we don't, so we have to settle for using this line when we can. It's pretty hard though, because we clearly didn't get right dice to do so. Lady Luck always rolls 6s, and we will have to pick the fighters that take the least amount of damage from the attacks. Like, for example, the cowboy, a hat wearer, and an animal. Actually got some poison on, which means we can now build up damage. This part, Lady Luck always starts by issuing commandments. Sometimes you can. It's just. At this point, we'd usually burn a dice, so that Lady Luck can do well. To sacrifice the back in here, since this Divine Dagger turn usually takes forever if you don't. That's actually alright for me, because doing that actually clears the poison. Actually doing, as you can see, I'm actually doing this fight better now than I am doing my PvP for. In my PvP, I actually had to fight a lot of enemies on the backstage. This one I only have to fight like 1 or 2 extra enemies. So that very last extra bit of poison should allow me to. Alright, I should be able to finish Lady Luck on the next turn. That's going to be a pretty good run. Time is when the Lady Luck health reaches 0. Now I could have, you know, yeah. In time. Alright, so that was Dicey Dungeons, full game any %. I do honestly hope that most of these episodes go a lot faster than I do in this run. Clearly, I've been spending quite a while running this category. It's been about 33 runs through it. It is a pretty long one though, and it is faster than my most viewed PvP, which was like 1 hour and 5 minutes, largely. But the thing is that my newer PvP was a lot faster. So, now we come to the ending, and it's just going to enjoy the critics. Alright. So, this is my video that I'm probably going to send it to James Done Quick. It's a little bit of a up since I guess I am pretty nervous, but overall this is a long run, and I do think that, you know, I could probably go for an estimated time of maybe an hour and 10 minutes or less. There are some possible hiccups, like the fact that some of the things don't get I don't often get to show off like a lot of the enemies, and a lot of them do kind of end up, a lot of the fights do end up kind of sometimes taking a long time if you are unlucky enough to get like 3 ones in a row. But I don't think that's always a likely occurrence to happen each and every time you play. And I do find this a pretty fun game to run. So I hope you'll consider this run for GDQ 2023, and should be that's about it for this recording. Who's this character? I never